Here's David. And here's Ricky. Here they are, America's favorite family, the Nelsons.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, I hope you didn't eat too many of those cookies. I've got a little surprise for you.
Oh? What you got here?
Chocolate eclairs, cream puffs, Napoleon.
Oh, Harriet. What, and a coffee cake. I'll eat the cookies later on. And an apple pie. Now, wait a second. Wasn't there a committee meeting at the women's club tonight?
Yeah, that's right. I got you 3 quarts of ice cream, too. Chocolate, vanilla, and the flavor of the week, pumpkin chips.
Okay, what did you volunteer me for?
Which do you want first, the eclairs or the ice cream?
Harriet.
You know, I never realized how popular you are.
Will you cut it out and just tell me what I'm stuck with?
I wish you could have been there to hear the applause when your name was mentioned.
So do I. Whatever it was, I could have turned it down.
Oh, not with that response.
Yeah, okay, everybody loved me. I was a big hit. Now, what am I stuck with?
Well, you know the monthly get-together we have for the young people?
Yes.
You know, we always have a guest speaker and dancing and refreshments.
Well, you want me to operate the record player while the kids dance?
No,
You want me to sell tickets?
we don't sell tickets.
Well, I know it has anything to do with the refreshments. Now, wait a second. You didn't by any chance volunteer me to make a speech.
Which do you want to start with, the eclair or the Napoleon?
I'll stick with the cookies and no strings attached.
Oh, come on, dear. It isn't really a speech. It's just sort of a little talk. We had a guest speaker all lined up, and he disappointed us at the last minute.
But what am I going to talk about? They've heard about all the football games I've ever played in, and everybody knows all my favorite stories.
Oh, you can think of something. Come on, I'm on a spot.
You're on a spot.
Yes, I spent half my allowance on this French pastry. Come on, dear, get fat and make the speech.
Well, are you sure she hasn't come in? Well, maybe she sneaked in, came in the back way. Will you be sure and give her the message, please? Yes, she has the number. Thank you.
Didn't you get her yet?
No.
How many times have you called her tonight?
About 10 or 12.
Can't you take a hint? She obviously doesn't want to talk to you.
It's just possible she's really out, you know.
Which would you rather believe? She doesn't want to talk to you, or she's out with somebody else?
She couldn't be out with anybody else.
Oh, she just doesn't want to talk to you.
Why wouldn't she want to talk to me?
I don't know. She's your girl. Your problem. Your Pop sent these up for you.
What's Mom trying to get him to do?
Give a speech at the women's club.
Poor Pop. I thought I had problems.
How long are you going to be doing that?
Well, I don't know. It looks like I got a couple more hours of work here.
Well, why didn't you start earlier?
Well, how could I? I spent most of the night phoning Kathy. Maybe I ought to try just once more.
Maybe you ought to finish your homework.
Here's an idea. Why don't you call her?
Me? Why should I call her?
I think the house mother recognizes my voice by now.
Hello? Is,
Kathy.
Kathy there? Oh, okay, thank you.
What'd she say?
She said, no, Kathy hadn't come in yet, and why was Ricky afraid to call?
She didn't say that.
Well, go ahead. Call her back and ask her.
I'll see you tomorrow at school. I must have called you about 10 or 12 times.
Gee, I'm sorry, but I was out.
I know it's none of my business, but where were you?
I was over at a girlfriend's house. We were going over our philosophy notes.
What about Saturday night?
Well, gee, why don't you call me later on in the week and I'll let you know?
Why can't you let me know right now?
Because you'll be late for class.
Well, you're not kidding.
And so I suggest that you look over these sonnets because you never can tell. They just might be included in the examination. Well, I guess that's about all we have time for today. Class dismissed. Oh, Mr. Nelson, may I speak to you for a moment?
Yes, sir. I know what you're going to say, Professor, and I'm sorry I was late.
That's not what I wanted to talk to you about. I've been looking over your grades. Frankly, I'm disappointed in you. You know you stand a good chance of failing this course.
Really? Well, that comes as quite a surprise.
Well, the thing that disturbs me is there's no reason for it. I know you're perfectly capable of handling the work, but you just don't seem to be applying yourself.
Well, I thought I was.
Well, your grades don't show it.
Well, is there anything I can do?
Well, you have an examination coming up. If I were you, I'd make sure I was prepared for it.
Yes, sir. I'll do my best.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. You'll think of something.
Well, that's easy enough for you to say. You don't have to make the speech.
Well, maybe Dave can help you out. You got any ideas, Dave,
About what?
for your father's speech?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd rather remain neutral. I love you both.
You know that you never got me involved in this darn thing.
Oh, come on now. How about that speech you made at the Rotary Club? Everybody said it was wonderful. Maybe you could make that again.
Well, now, Harry, that was years ago. Besides, young people wouldn't be interested in anything like that.
What was the subject, Pop?
Oh, something about raising the speed limit on the highway to 35 miles an hour. That gives you an idea how long ago it was.
Well, I think safe driving might be a good subject, though.
Well, I don't want it to sound like a lecture. It's got to be something young people would be interested in hearing about.
How about is rock and roll the real cause of juvenile delinquency?
Oh, cut it out, Dave.
Or here's one. What happened to the old-fashioned father who was really the head of the household?
Will you cut it out or I'll punch you right in the nose?
You wouldn't dare.
No, I guess I wouldn't at that.
What's going on?
Pop's gonna punch me in the nose.
Well, you might as well punch me too, Pop. Everybody else has.
Well, what seems to be the trouble?
I don't know. This has turned out to be everybody kick Ricky in the stomach day.
What are you complaining about? Pop has to make a speech.
He doesn't have to take this English literature course of mine.
Why, Rick? You having trouble with it?
The professor says I'm failing it.
Failing it? Well, nobody fails English literature.
I wouldn't take any bets on that, Pop. Why'd you insist I take this course anyway?
Well, I didn't insist. In fact, I had nothing to do with it.
Well, then why'd I take it?
Because you thought it was a fresh air course and you could ad-lib your way through it.
What use is it going to be to me? What good is it going to do to memorize a bunch of poems?
Well, there's more to English literature than just memorizing the poems.
Well, I'm still sorry I took the course. This is a scientific age we're living in, Pop. Nobody's interested in poets anymore.
Well, maybe that's a mistake. Maybe we should pay a little more attention to things like literature and music. It might ease some of the tensions in this rat race we're all involved in.
No, I think you're right, Pop.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I think specialization is fine, but in my opinion, the main purpose of education is to develop a well-rounded man.
Hey, congratulations.
For what?
Well, you just found a perfect subject for your speech.
What? I can't eat all these mashed potatoes.
Sure you can. I married a well-rounded man, and I want to make sure he stays that way.
There's no denying the fact that we're living in a scientific age. We depend upon a knowledge of science for our very existence, for the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the houses we live in. But don't you think we should also enrich our lives with an appreciation of poetry, of music, of literature? Don't forget that moon that the scientists are so interested in is the same one the poets have been writing about for years and years.
Very good, Oz.
Hi, Joe. You're just the guy I'm looking for. Do you know any poems about the moon?
Oh, sure, lots of them. Shine on, harvest moon up in the sky.
No, that's a song.
I ain't had no lovin' since January, February, June, or July.
No. I'm talking about poetry.
Well, that's poetry. Up high in July, it rhymes.
Yes, I know that.
How about Moon Over Miami? Moon over Miami, shine on my love for
Look,
me.
Joe, I've got to have this speech ready by tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, I heard about it. Say, aren't you taking kind of a chance?
Well, what way?
Well, you know, going out on a limb about this poetry business.
Well, it isn't just poetry. It's my contention that part of our educational system is being neglected. We're overemphasizing the sciences at the expense of the humanities.
The humanity. Oh, yes. Isn't that what somebody described as learning more and more about less and less?
Well, that's just a play on words. Actually, it means the broadening of our education along cultural lines, cultivating an interest in things that enrich our lives. Let's write that down.
Charlie, I think you're wasting your time writing anything down. You make a speech like that and they'll laugh you out of the hall. Either that or they'll fall asleep on you.
That's what you think.
Oh, come on, Oz. This is a new age we're living in, a scientific age. Kids have too many other things to learn.
Well, that's just it. What good is all this scientific progress if we neglect the things that make life worth living?
You mean like poetry?
Well, yes. Life would be pretty empty without poetry.
Oh, I know that. Personally, I like poems.
Well, have you ever taken the trouble to study any, to memorize them?
Oh, I certainly have. Well, not real long ones, of course. I always like the shorter ones. I think my favorite one is called Fleas.
Please?
Adam had 'em.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Oh, don't get mad, Hud. I may not agree with you, but I'll be out in that audience tomorrow night rooting for you. And if I should happen to fall asleep, I promise you I'll snore very quietly.
Good night, Joe. Oh, I'm glad to see you're hitting the books, Rick. How's it coming?
Oh, pretty good. How's your speech coming along?
Oh, not too bad. I think I'll be able to make a pretty good case for poetry.
A tough time convincing me.
Oh, don't be too sure. I was looking for an old poetry book. I thought maybe you guys might have it around here someplace.
This is the only poetry book I've got. We use this one in class.
Oh, do you mind if I take a look at it for a few minutes?
No, help yourself.
Thanks. Byron, Keats, and Shelley. Oh, here's one of my favorite poems. I used to read this to your mother.
You're kidding.
No, you can ask her. Yeah, I had some wonderful Sunday afternoons. We'd rent a canoe and paddle way out on the lake, and I'd read poetry to her. So quiet and restful and romantic.
Who paddled?
Well, it was pretty difficult for me to hold a poetry book and a paddle in my hand at the same time.
That'd be kind of tough today, reading poetry with an outboard motor going.
Well, you could always cut off the engine and drift for a while. Why'd you try it?
The girl would probably die laughing at me.
Maybe surprised. Oh, here's a beautiful poem. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate.
Oh, excuse me, Papa. Hello? Oh, hi. Not exactly.
Oh, well, I'll see you later, Rick.
Oh, Pop, would you mind leaving the book? I have to study from it.
Oh. Well, good luck, son.
May I help you?
Yeah, where's the poetry section, please?
It's right over there.
Oh, thank you.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Well, I'm giving a little talk on poetry at the Women's Club this evening. I just wanted to look up some reference material.
Oh, well, if I can be of any assistance, just let me know.
Oh, thank you. Hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert, that from heaven or near it pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. Higher still and higher from the earth thou springest, like a cloud of fire, the blue deep thou winnest, and singing still dost soar, soaring ever singest.
That was beautiful. Simply beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much.
This gentleman gives lectures on poetry.
Oh,
Oh, how interesting.
well, I don't actually. That is, well, I am appearing at the Women's Club tonight.
Oh, isn't that nice? Perhaps you could make an appearance at Our Ladies' Society some afternoon.
Oh, well, really, I have quite a busy schedule.
Now, girls, the professor has work to do.
Oh, I think I have everything I need here. It's awfully nice to have met you ladies. Pardon me.
Goodbye, Professor.
Isn't he grand?
Oh, hi, Pop.
Oh, hi, Rick. Hi, dear.
Oh, hi. You're just in time.
Well, where's Rick going?
Over to the sorority house to talk to his girlfriend.
What about dinner?
I was hoping you'd ask that. They eat at 6 o'clock over there.
I mean, Ricky.
Oh, he's going to eat later. Right now, he's more interested in straightening himself out with his girlfriend.
Well, I hope that wasn't his poetry book he had with him.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was. I think he's going to take a lesson from you and try poetry on her.
She'll probably die laughing at him.
Now, why do you say that?
Oh, Harriet, I've been thinking this over, and Joe's right. Nobody's interested in poetry anymore. Well, maybe a couple of old ladies. Nice old ladies, but not young people. It's the scientific age we're living in.
Kind of changing your tune, aren't you?
Well, I've been thinking it over, and Ricky's right.
What's that?
Well, this is my speech. I'm going to rewrite the whole thing.
Whatever you say. Oh, don't go too far. Dinner will be ready in a minute.
Oh, well, if you don't mind, I think I'll skip dinner. I'd better get going on this.
Mom?
Oh, no, you don't. You're going to stay right home and eat your dinner.
I was just going to ask you when dinner would be ready.
Hi, Rick.
Hi.
Come on in, sit down.
Oh, thanks. Where is everybody tonight?
Well, some of the girls are studying, but most of them got dates to go over to the women's club.
That's kind of why I dropped by. I thought maybe you'd like to go over there. They're having a dance afterwards.
Well, gee, I have some homework I should do. Are you going over?
Well, I think I should. My dad's making a speech.
Oh, what's he going to talk about?
Well, he's been thinking about several subjects.
Something scientific, I'll bet. Space travel or something about jet planes.
Well, no, I think he's going to talk about poetry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you like poetry?
Oh, yes, don't you?
Well, yeah, if you do.
I think poetry is so romantic. My dad used to read poems to my mother before they were married. I'd like you to meet my dad someday. He's a real swell guy.
Yeah, he sounds like he is. Well, my dad's a real swell guy, too, and real smart. The only trouble is, my mother's even smarter. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to boast about my family.
Don't apologize. I think that's wonderful. You know, you hear so much nowadays about kids that don't appreciate their parents. I think most of them do. They just don't know how to say it.
I think you're absolutely right.
Gee, I can't get over it. I mean, you're being interested in poetry.
Well, I didn't used to be, but you know how it is. As you get older, your interests change.
Oh, sure, they change from year to year.
Sometimes overnight. Yeah, I happen to have a book of poems with me. Would you like me to read you one?
Oh, yes, I'd love that.
Here's a beautiful poem. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being an ideal grace.
Do you really think you should change your speech? I know you don't mean those things you've got written down there.
Well, I don't think I believe in them exactly, but everybody else seems to.
Well, I think you ought to say what you believe. Everybody doesn't have to be a scientist, you know.
Hi.
Oh,
hi, Rick.
Mom, Pop, I'd like you to meet Kathy Jones.
How do you do?
Hello.
Rick tells me you're going to make a speech about poetry tonight.
Well, yes, in a way.
Oh, I think that's wonderful.
You do?
Oh, yes. I mean, so many people are so busy with the so-called practical things that they don't have time for poetry and music.
Well, that's just the way Mr. Nelson feels.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Well, so am I.
You really mean that, Rick?
Well, sure, Pop. You and Mom have been right about a lot of things lately.
Mr. Nelson, we're about ready for your speech now.
Oh, okay, I'll be there in just a minute.
Good luck, Pop.
Thanks,
Yes,
son.
good luck, Mr.
Good
Nelson.
luck, dear.
Thanks. Well, I realize that this is a scientific age, and I realize that things change from generation to generation. But there are certain basic values that never change. When I was in college, a lot of old fogies predicted that our younger generation was going to the dogs. Dixieland jazz music was destroying our musical taste. But now see what's happened. The college boy of yesterday has become the old fogey of today, and rock and roll is the villain. Everything changes, and yet nothing changes. Among my fondest memories are the Sunday afternoons when we'd drift along in a canoe, and I'd read romantic poems to a beautiful girl. The poems are still romantic, and the girl I read them to is still beautiful. Let me see if I can recall one of them for you. See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth? if thou kiss not me.
Well, thank you very much. I'll tell him. Goodbye.
Hi.
Hi. Boy, that phone's been ringing all day long.
Oh, nothing the matter, is there?
No, your speech last night was a big success. Everybody's been calling me to tell me how wonderful you are.
Oh, well, thank you.
Of course, I've known that all along.
Hi, Mom, Pop.
Oh, hi, Rick.
Hey, guess what? I got an A on the examination.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah, he must have been at the lecture last night. He just had us write a composition on what poetry has done for me.
Well, how'd you find out about your mark?
Well, he stopped me in the hall a little while ago and told me. I better get cleaned up.
Oh, do you have a date?
Yeah, I sure do.
I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right.
Oh, Ricky, that's beautiful.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date.
Oh, David, you read poetry beautifully.
Thank you.
Say I'm weary, say I'm sad. Say that health and wealth have missed me. Say I'm growing old, but add, Jenny kissed me.
But my name's Sylvia.
There is sweet music here. There is sweet music here. That softer falls than petals from the blown roses on the grass, or night dews on the still waters between the walls of shadowy granite in a gleaming path.
Shine on, harvest moon up in the sky. I ain't had no lovin' since January, February, June, or July.
Oh, Joe, that's beautiful.
It's no time, ain't no time to stay outdoors and spoon. So shine on, harvest moon for me and my gal.
She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry sky. And all its best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. That's a beautiful poem. Isn't it, Harriet? Harriet? Harriet?
Oh, come on, dear. You paddle for a while.